Hey guys, today I'm filming the finale for my summer project pan and I am so happy with what I was able to accomplish here. So I'm filming this on September 9th. So it is just a little bit over 3 weeks since my second update. And I told you guys I wasn't sure if I was gonna have any empties. I thought I would be close on a couple of things. Well, I actually finished 4 more products, some of them just yesterday. So that's why I was holding out a little bit longer for this finale because I just knew how close I was. First, I did finish up my Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer, and I have unfortunately rubbed off a lot of the markings, but it looks like here, here, here. And I have contorted this all the ways and it is totally used up, which is awesome. I can't believe I've used this up start to finish in 3 months, because this was a 1.35 ounce product. Oh, I didn't realize it was over 1 ounce, but I feel like I was able to use a good bit of this, you know, per application. So the weights went from 1.425, 1.130, 0.719 and 0.431. This is something that I've really grown to love through using this. I do think this is a great mattifying primer that is going to, you know, have a mattifying effect, but you are still going to get oily throughout the day. But it is not going to make your makeup apply or wear in a patchy way like some other more like glue mattifying primers can be. So I'm very happy I have a backup of this because I really enjoy it. And if I didn't, I probably would want to buy this. So that's very exciting. This is not something that I mentioned as a potential empty, but I did finish my Tower 28 Swipe Up Concealer in BU. And the last 2 applications, I actually used it as my foundation. And the second day I got like half my face done. So I worked to spread it around, but I was just so sick of using this. Now I love this concealer. I'm very impressed with, you know, how much product that you get. There's not a bunch of excess packaging. This is probably my favorite serum like concealer. It gives great medium coverage, where I think this works well with skin tints and more full coverage foundations. I would love to see them expand the shade range because BU ended up working for me, but I would have liked it if it was a little bit lighter. But the 1 shade down is pretty darn light. But this was a fantastic product, would repurchase in the future. And I of course did weigh it with a stopper, and the weights went from 1.297 to 1.274, 1.234, 1.193. Then I have another Tower 28 empty, which is amazing. This is the Sculptino in Broad. This is supposed to be their contour, but basically they just don't have the shimmer in them like the Bronzinos do. And this is something that I had decluttered and then decided, no, I think I've used it enough and these are easy enough to get through that I should just use it up. And I got through this pretty darn quickly. I will have a picture of where I was last time. I did mix it up right after I filmed that update just to make it easier to use up, and this feels so good. It's officially my 3rd liquid/cream bronzer I finished this year. None of them were brand new, but still that feels amazing. So proud of that. This is not something I'm going to repurchase though, because this formula is too balmy and I feel like it's, you know, a little too dewy. It's really kind of hard to wash out of my brushes because of the texture. I think it, you know, looked nice and blended on the skin nice and everything, but also this shade didn't really work for me. It was a little too yellow. I just want products that are just like a lighter shade of brown, and everything is either like too orange or red or yellow or green on me. So would not repurchase, but what an exciting empty. And the weights on this went from 1.449, 1.407, 1.347, and 1.324. I finished my Natasha Denona Daphne lip liner. I don't have my full size out here to show you. I meant to grab it, but it's like this much. I mean, I finished a full lip liner in 4 months because I started working on this at the end of my spring project. So finishing a whole sharpenable lip liner in 4 months is amazing. This is also my 3rd lip liner empty of the year. I'm definitely going to have another one because I finished 3/4 of a ColourPop one last year, but this was amazing. And the weights on this went from 0.222 to 0.189, 0.139, 0.088, and I may have missed a use or 2, but I was able to get at least 235 uses out of this, which is amazing. I'm so thankful that with my job, it makes sense for me to reapply lip product so often because it has really helped me pan a lot of lippies this year. And this was a really nice formula, very creamy, but it does set down. But, you know, I feel like this didn't necessarily keep products in place, but it did define my lips. So this was a pretty color, but I ended up not totally loving it paired with my Fenty gloss. I mean, I think that they did go well together, but I think that the color then would pull to like orangey rose on me. So would not repurchase the color wise exactly, but this was a really nice formula, and this is a gigantic accomplishment to have finished that off. So now let me show you the progress on the items that I have left. There are still quite a few of them. So for my foundation, I was working on the Too Faced Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation in Swan, and I knew this is something that was going to go through my fall project as well because this has 1.6 fluid ounces of product. But you can see I had really consistent progress since I started working on this. So this is something that will definitely be finished in my fall project, and I absolutely love this. The weights went from 2.518 to 2.340 to 2.128 to 2.032. Then that does have more of like a medium coverage, and I feel like, you know, my acne scarring does still show through. So I was pairing it with my Estee Lauder Double Wear Same Place Flawless Wear Concealer, which has been discontinued. This is discontinued, you know, just like everything I love, of course. And this is a shade 1N Light Neutral, and the product never totally settles here. So this is maybe not an accurate marking of where I'm at, but you know, close enough. Close enough, got some good progress on this. The weights went from 0.660 to 0.642. 0.604 to 0.583. This will roll over as well. And then just for fun, I was tracking this Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder Tone Up in Rose. And this is a really nice peachy pink under eye setting powder. This is not even going to be finished in my fall project. I mean, the product sticks to the side so badly, but it looks like I'm like down here, which is amazing for just using this under my eyes. And the weights went from 3.750, 3.676, 3.599, 3.506. So I'm going to continue using this in fall as well, but probably, I don't know, let me know. Should I take this on my project considering I'm not going to finish it? You can't see the progress really well. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll still use it, but I don't know if it's interesting enough to mention it. Then I had the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Flush in Watermelon Flush. And you can see I finished over half of this, which is great. I'm sad I didn't track my progress. I did take the stopper out because it was just removing too much product. And now I'm at the point where I do have to put a Q-tip in there. And I actually have decided to roll this over into my fall project. I would love to have this done by the end of the year. And I think that this is sheer enough that I can put, you know, like a nude powder blush on top and it's gonna work just fine. That's how I'm gonna try it. If it doesn't end up working, I'll take it out. But I just really wanna get this knocked out. And the weights on this went from 0.883, 0.862, 0.843, 0.790. Then I did mix up my eyeshadows. So this was the base of my Laura Mercier Caviar Stick and Metallic Taupe, then a little bit of Too Faced Fairy Dust and Half Magic Beige Mystique. Like the tips broke off of those, and then also a chunk of Laura Mercier Amethyst. I do have a video of that. All that is mixed together here, and I basically am still where I was at last time. I have used this a couple of times, but I will admit that, you know, due to kind of laziness or the fact that this is still a cooler tone, and sometimes the eyeshadows I'm wearing are a warmer tone, so I'm using that Nude Rose from Laura Mercier. So we'll see if I can finish this in fall. I'm feeling non-confident about finishing this and Bobbi Brown, but we'll see. But I really need to repurchase my Cinema Secrets Makeup Brush Cleaner, because, you know, I have to wash the brush for this every day. But today I did apply this just with my finger on my lid, and that worked out fine. It's not as precise as when I use my brush, but I still think that worked because this is creamy enough. So I might do that. So a little disappointing there, but that's okay. And then lastly was my lip gloss, the Fenty Gloss Bomb Cream in Fenty Glow. And, you know, I made some good progress here, but there's so much product in here that this is still going to take a long time to use up. And I was going to roll it into fall, but I honestly might just work on this next year. I'm not 100% decided on it. The weights went from 1.268, 1.266, 1.230, 1.153, and the uses I have tracked for this would be 96, but I definitely used it 4 times before bringing it into this project. So 100 uses so far, and I'm about halfway done. So that's kind of wild. I think I might be over that one for now. And then I almost forgot to show you this. I'm actually going to be decluttering this item, the Dior Lip Glow Oil in pink. It looks like I'm, you know, exactly where I was. I haven't been the best about using this. I just don't think this formula is amazing. I want to give it to a friend so they can have a Dior experience. And the weights went from 1.277, 1.272, 1.256, 1.247. You really do get a ton of product, which is great, but I just don't think that this formula is very special. You know, it feels nice when you initially put it on, but as it wears away, it's a little bit sticky. And I got 38, we'll round it up to 40 uses out of this, but you can't tell, which is nice. You know, it's going to last you a long time, which makes it more worth the money. But no, I am going to pass that along. And then really quickly, I will run you through, really quickly, I'll talk about the 3 products I finished earlier in this project. Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder and Sugar Cookie, the translucent shade. Absolutely fell in love with this powder. Definitely will repurchase. This was a rollover from spring project. Then I had 2 other lip glosses I was able to use up. The Buxom Lip Polish in Ryan, a gorgeous pinky coral. And also a warm pink would be the Kaja Gloss Shot in Pink Drink. Unfortunately, this has been discontinued. And this is a mini, but it was 3/4 the amount of product as a full size. This, I believe, has half the amount of product as a full size. So I think this was a huge success. I definitely feel really good about the 4 things I was able to finish up recently. So I'm feeling excited about my fall project. I want to play around to bring in some things that are different. I am going to have a lot of rollovers, but I want it to still feel interesting and fun. So we'll see what I can come up with. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do have some other project pan updates going up around this one. I would love if you guys would check those out, show all of these videos any love. And I would love to hear what items you're working on and what projects you're doing right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.